Hello YouTube, today is another Postbag video. In this Postbag video there are 3 parcels. The first parcel is wrapped in yellow tape, which is traditional for Chinese parcels. It was supposed to be coming from the UK and it even says it's from Manchester. But on the rear, there's a custom CM22. It says it's 2.4 kilos and a value of $15. And it says it's a power supply. Inside the packaging there is a box which might have some Chinese handwriting on it. For some reason they have the box inside out, if it is actually this power supply. Okay, this did come with a UK plug. A Chinese branded UK plug. I think that says it's 13 amps. The fuse inside is a non-UK standard fuse. It says 13 amps lead free. Normally it's a busman fuse, but this one is a disman fuse. And there's a British standard safety number on there, which might not be correct. This is the label on the bottom of the power supply. Labels are usually on the side of the power supply, as that one. I think the branding is slightly different to the box, so that's probably why they had the box inside out. The individual wattage adds up to more than 1600 watts. I've checked the earth connections and it does appear to be earthed, so that's one good thing. The case is not lined up properly, it's a bit out. And it's okay on this side. A whack with a hammer has fixed the issue. This cable feels very flimsy, especially for a 13 amp cable. This may be an aluminium cable instead of a copper cable. If it is, then this would definitely not be rated as 13 amps. The mining rig is doing about £11 a day. If I add the second power supply, this should add up to £22 a day. The next parcel is a meter long. It is a 12-piece drain rod set. It has a 100mm or a 4-inch rubber plunger and a 50mm double worm screw. The previous tenants were a bit dirty and they poured oil or fats down the drain, which leaves the landlord to clean it up. It says it's a Marksman premium tool. It comes in a plastic case with a drawstring. The next parcel is in a Southern Electric box. Someone has written no reason on the box. Inside the box there are 8 more boxes, and inside is a current cost CT128NV energy monitor, which has been branded as Southern Electric. It has the clamp meter or the CT meter, which normally goes around your electricity monitor, but I'll be using these as a different purpose. And there is also a small plug for the display, which runs at 35 milliamps. I will be connecting the energy monitors to these power conditioners, so I'll need to open them up and attach the CT sensor. The display has a RJ45 socket on the back, but this is not a network port. It's actually 3.3 volt TTL signals, and in the past I've created a circuit that will use a MAX 233 chip that will convert these signals and output it as serial. But this time I might use the ESP01 Wi-Fi board. It is smaller than the MAX 233 and it has built-in Wi-Fi. I'll modify the firmware and write a custom app which will output the data over Wi-Fi. This power supply is a lot quieter than the first power supply. As you can see, the new power supply has been opened up. I did short out one of these 2 capacitors and there was a very loud bang and it's made a couple of dents in my pliers. I did find a small surface mount diode and a random piece of metal which I've just dropped inside the power supply. The fault with this power supply is this relay here. If it moves a little bit, it switches on and off. So what I might have to do is short out the output of the relay, which is the same circuit design in this Duff power supply. I powered up the power supply again and the relay hasn't energized. Last time I put a probe in here and then just put some pressure on the relay and it switched on, but it doesn't seem to be doing that now. Okay, so after some troubleshooting I found out what the issue is. The power supply does not like to be switched off and then back on again from the mains. I have to remove the link and put it back in again, which is difficult to do with one hand. The relay's clicked and the fan's spinning again. I just touched that terminal then, it had the plug in and it was live. It wasn't nice, but I'm still alive. Normally in a black and red scenario, the black should be neutral and red should be live. If you look down at the bottom, there's an L printed there. However, if you look at the plug, there's an L on the left hand side where the black is. So the live and neutral are the wrong way around. I will connect the old power supply to this connector which only has the green and black connector. That way I don't have to have problems with the new power supply switching on. It just means I have to turn the power on from the case. Okay, so the second power supply is in as a primary power supply. I can see that 6 of the GPUs are mining. When I have a look at device manager, I can see 6 of them are okay and the 7th one has just popped up. So it looks like Windows is still trying to install the drivers for the graphics cards. The power consumption changes between 2 kilowatts to 2.1 kilowatts. And the power conditioner changes between 7.9 and 8.9 amps out of a maximum of 10 amps. And that's based on 6 GPUs. So I might be exceeding the limit of the power conditioner. I'm just installing the drivers again. This should bring up the 7th GPU. Then I need to think how I'm going to get the 8th GPU up and running. Okay, the 7th GPU is up and running. All it needed was a restart. Now I have to figure out where is the 8th GPU. That little flash means it looks like Windows is trying to install it. I'm just going to benchmark the 7th GPU and hopefully the 8th GPU will turn up. Almost there. Got all 8 graphics cards showing up, but the last one has problems. I will try another driver update. So after a reboot, all 8 graphic cards are showing up. Now I just need to run a benchmark and start mining. I'm having some problems with the 8th GPU. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. The system seems to be stable without the 8th GPU activated. If I look at the power conditioner, it looks like it won't go higher than 10 amps. And that's based on 7 of the GPUs running. So I may have to put these 2 power supplies onto 2 separate power conditioners. So this is the 3rd power supply, but technically it's the 2nd power supply because the original 2nd one got refunded. This is the 1600 watt mining power supply for ETH Rig Ethereum Coin Miner 12 graphics card. This was £85.99 with free postage. After I bought this, the seller has added a make offer button, but at the time of buying it wasn't there. This came from a seller called Cow Star Shop, who is a Chinese seller, but he is dispatching these from Middlesex. But when the parcel arrived, it actually came from Manchester. It says it's for 6 graphics cards, but that depends on how much power each graphic card is using. It says it has a high efficiency of 90% and can run from 190 volts to 240 volts. So it'll run in China, UK, probably Australia, but will not work in America unless if you have the 220 volt system. It says convective cooling for both front and rear roller fans, whatever that means. So it has the 24 pin connector. It says it has a 4-pin connector, but I think this is an 8 or 4-pin connector. It has 12 lots of 6+2 PCI-E power cables, and I don't really understand the SATA interface there, but there's 8 of them. And it has 6 4-pin Molex connectors. So it's wide capacity, 190 volts to 264 volts, full voltage range except the 110 volts range, eliminating the risk of low pressure machine, whatever that means. It's temperature controlled, and I don't understand number 3. Feature design 0A on line mode to adapt to next generation of CPU. It has an intimate design, 5 volt standby, less than 20 millivolts, low ripple, intelligent terminal power supply. I'm sure this has been converted from Chinese to English. Safe design, stable, comprehensive safety design. Graphic card power optimization protection graphics. It says it has a shutdown 60-second delay cooling, reduce high temperature loss. Well, I've not seen this yet, but then the power supply isn't really running that hot. Especially optimize the module with back alignment. So this is from a Chinese seller with a UK VAT number. So let's see what this VAT number points to. Okay, so this seller is actually VAT registered, and we can see the full address in London. Next is the current cost CC128MV energy monitor. This seller has random 70% off offers, but this isn't 70% off, this is just 10%. Normal price is £7.99, but I got these for £7.19 each with free delivery. The seller was meant to give me £3 off for combining the postage, but they never did. The seller was RS Communications, based in Manchester. This energy monitor is very good. It might be because they're doing the calculations based on 240 volts, which is similar to the mains voltage. Other energy monitors are way out, and I think those are calculating it on the 230 volts, which the UK voltage should be, but never is. It has a large display on the front, and on the back is the socket for the power and the RJ45 connection for data communication. It says Southern Electric on the front, and that is because energy companies have rebranded these and they give them away for free to customers, but normally these were about £30. You can get more CT sensors, and you can get 3-phase versions as well as optical sensors. The 12-piece drain rod was from Amazon, and this was from a seller called HBK, and it was £13.35. There are some which have lower ratings, but this one seems to be okay. It could be that people are not using it properly. This is for domestic drains for up to 9 meters long. Normally you shouldn't really need to go that far. It depends on your drainage system. It comes with a rubber plunger and a dual worm screw in case if you've got anything trapped in there. Back at the spreadsheet, we have the second power supply, which is up and running. For this I had a budget of £1 for every 10 watts, and this was a 1600 watt power supply, so that's a £160 budget. It was $85.99, which was cheaper than the first power supply, but this power supply wasn't available when I bought the first one. The delivery was free. I had £2.50 Nectar vouchers. I got 1% from Top Cashback. If you want to join Top Cashback, there's links in the description. I got 0.5% cashback from my credit card, which means I paid £82.21. That's a saving of £3.78, or just under 4.5%. I'm not adding the drain rod set or the current cost devices because they're not part of the mining rig. So if I update the totals, I have spent £8,852.44, which is $6,307. I have £147.56 left, or just under $192, which means I've beaten the target of £5,000 or $6,500 to build this machine. If you've liked this video and found anything useful, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't done already, please subscribe and click on the bell for more notifications. And could you also like my Facebook page? And I'll see you next time.